Then came the pregnancy, a huge surprise, but only because she thought she'd already found out the course of their lives together, and this did not fit what they saw. She picked Peter up and felt that his bottom seemed wet. Couldn't they make diapers a little sturdier? Of course, she had opted for the cheaper off-brand diapers this time. Mental note, get brand name leak-lock diapers next time. They seemed to withstand Peter's nighttime movements much better. A quick diaper change, and Peter was once more sucking his hand, a signal that it was feeding time. This little guy's needs truly ruled Tabitha's life right now. She sat in the rocking chair to feed him, propping her feet up on the wooden nursing stool, an object that really made her back much more comfortable. Looking down at it, she thought, what if I dropped him on that? My goodness, that could cause him a head injury. Trying her best not to envision it happening, she shook her head as if to shake off the thought. Those thoughts came and went periodically. Before discovering she was pregnant, Tabitha had been convinced she would not have a baby until years later, and that child would be a daughter, her one and only child. After all, through their time travels in Milt's time-leaping Envo, Tabitha and Milt had seen the future. They had found out things about themselves that perhaps they shouldn't. She had to constantly convince herself, and Milt would chime in too, that they had not been foreseeing anything set in stone, but rather were only foreseeing possibilities based on so many minute contingencies. Milt was very sure of this theory. He knew all about quantum physics, probabilities, and contingencies. She did not have a mind as scientific as his, but mankind reaching Mars had to come true. She lay her head back, trying to calm her thoughts, thinking of orchid fruit, a much-loved hybrid of one of the futures they'd visited. At least Peter was happy for now. Tabitha jerked awake. How much time had passed? Unaware of dreaming, she sensed that she was somewhere else. In a nursery, sitting in a rocking chair. There's a baby in my arms. Whose baby is this? She gently rubbed the back of his head with the soft, downy hair, looking at the wallpaper pattern with airplanes and automobiles. Baby Superstore. That's where we got that wallpaper. She took in the scent of baby lotion on this tiny little being in her charge. Peter. His chubby hand rested on her arm, fingers opening and closing in his slumber. Yes, she loved him. But at times, she felt like something would happen to him. His existence was not seen when they visited the future. She had to fight those feelings. I really should not let myself fall asleep holding him, all the things that could happen. She yawned, exhausted. Yeah, I must be really tired this time. Never yet had she fallen asleep holding him in the rocking chair. This was a new one for the books. Horrible Mom of the Year award goes to Tabitha Braddock. Stop it, she chided herself. You are doing your best. Man, I really hope he'll sleep when I put him back in the crib. I'm a horrible mom and exhausted. She stood up gingerly and laid him in the crib. He stirred a little, but didn't make a noise. Back to the bedroom she went. Just as she pulled back the covers, Peter's crying began again. Ugh! She had just reached the bed and hadn't even lain down yet. Milt appeared to be in one of his deep sleeps. Too bad. He'd have to take his turn. Tabitha was going into work in the art gallery for an hour or two and needed another hour or so of sleep. She shook his arm, then his back, and finally turned the alarm on. Sure, he had been up late, working on another breakthrough and likely needed his sleep now. But how he could not be bothered by the noise from the monitor was beyond her. The beep, beep, beep of the alarm should do the trick, despite the panicky feeling it was giving her. No matter if it got her some relief from constant duty. She shook her head. Man, how I'd love to get away.